Oh, snap diddly. How we doing? Previously on Kimba TV. I'm not really interested in trying to chase any more longs. I already have my MEXC long. Maybe it sweeps the sweep, and maybe it sweeps on CME on all-time highs. So all three of those big levels, I'm kind of interested in seeing if I have an edge to short.
PSG gang, what the fuck?
PSG.
PSG, let's fucking go.
Fucking go.
GG. Oh, let's fucking go.
Let's fucking
Hey.
go.
Shout out to
And
Houston
that's
first.
That's what we fucking
GG.
do. That's what we fucking do.
That's a poor of a fucking guy.
That's what we fucking get.
Nice.
Let's fucking go,
Oh,
Adrian.
if you ain't the PSG gang, what the fuck are you doing?
Good morning, y'all! Yeah. How we doing? Run the stuff. Mirano says, did you add to your shorts? I think you mean my long. No, I did not add to the long. Let's see. All right, there we go. Is that too small? Koduz, do you remember what we said on Friday?
Oh, yay.
CME hasn't swept yet. So there's a high chance that we did not miss the short. And I put my stop loss at tiny profit. Remember when we talked about there's nothing wrong with a tiny P? So no, I didn't cancel the short. I got stopped out in tiny profit. We talked about it. We planned for it. So Friday is what you want to listen to. But Friday, we talked about how we'll take tiny profit on the short. And I want to get filled for more. And we knew that we didn't miss on the short until Tuesday. Adrian Mirano says, are you shorting the CME all-time highs? Do you remember what we talked about on Friday? Mirano, what would make me take the short on CME all-time high? Because we already planned for it. Do you remember what the plan is? Navio, what's going on? Navio says, how do we identify levels of the upside if we are at all-time high and there was no history to go off of? Well, if you're trading the markets and theoretically the asset that you're trading doesn't crash, it's always going to go to all-time high, right, Navio? Does that make sense?
Fake market short.
Fibonacci extension, time extension, one-to-one targets. But when it's also making all-time highs, it's a chance for you to be able to track like bad highs, bad lows. Navio. Zatus, thank you for the resub. Nightwatch BTC, Hayato, let me just finish out the roll call here. Bravo, Natormi, Evox, Javois, Prawn, Notharmi, Ricky Rampage, Burbizi, Hayato, Nightwatch, 604, Domzer, Skip Moha, Ali, what's going on? Hitman, what's going on? Hayato-san, what's going on? Mandelo, Zillions, Mirano, Dr. Paseo, Big Bundas, Krispy Kreme, Lee Kwok. What's going on, Krispy Kreme? Domzer, Kodu says, yeah, I remember your stop loss indeed. Yes. Yep. So just set it. And like we were talking about, I was pretty sure that we didn't miss the short until the CME came back Sunday, Monday. So here we are again. So now at this point, I'm waiting for CME all-time high to get swept. Dat says, can you show again the chart of CME? Sure. Do you want the all-time high? There you go. 73,715. Mark that hoe. Alrighty. Hasn't been swept yet. But anyways, anybody in shorts already? Let's do this real quick. Let's take a look at the Bugammas. Alright, so 51 hundo. Holy fuck. 51 hundo. Jiminy Christmas. Well, we're already there. We'll see if 51 hundo turns into support. Nekezar Hayato-san. Hayato says 72.3 short. Okay. Cypher says I TP'd my long. Yeah, all my a bunch of my TPs. No, not a bunch, but some of my TPs got hit too on the long. Any questions? Lee Kwok says, look at that nasty Bugatti OI. Well, are you looking at this one? Because longs opened. You know that there's a whole shit ton of longs trapped right here. So if you start to get below here, it's gonna probably go rink. Could it be? How many people staring at this right now? I know you is. Math. Touch my monkey says, yes, stop loss and tiny profit. Beautiful, brother, beautiful. I love it. Brian Tang says, still waiting on CME sweep just to be safe. I feel you, Brian Tang. Brian, real quick question. Do you remember the last couple times CME sweep coincided with? What if the CME sweep comes tomorrow? What if it does a CME sweep today, makes a whole bunch of poor highs, and then we sweep the sweep tomorrow with CPI? Just all things to think about, yeah? Especially with such a bearish Bugamma today. Mystique says, I have an ETH short at 40.70. Good shit. Karen says, I'm waiting for 73.3. I feel you. Because I have more here. Right, Karen? You heard? Testnet TPs. Get nasty. Math. Aritodo says, I got my short from 72.3 was $2 from getting stopped out. I see you, Aritodo-san. Yeah, so for most of you guys that are already in shorts, you're probably watching this, yeah? I'm rooting for you guys. Let's see what happens, y'all. But yeah, lots of longs trapped in the blue box. So bulls, bears, all you really need to do is like start triggering stop losses around 71,000. You're going to have a quick cascade probably. But that's if you can start the domino effect, Bugatti money. Maybe Band-Aid, what's going on? Yeah, buddy says, does Kimba Crown work on lower time frames? Just like anything on lower time frames, it's got a lower probability, right? A 5-minute ascending candle versus a 4-hour ascending candle. That ascending candle on the 4-hour probably has a little bit more probability to math out. I would try a 69 something to 70K long too if we don't sweep CME before. Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. It would be like a 69.3 Domzer. Yeah, I feel you. Get nasty. CME is almost there. Roger that. 8 Waja said, thanks, man. Yeah, my pleasure, 8 Waja. Yeah, the main thing that I would want you to understand, 8 Waja, is why we would start, exactly what you asked, why I'm starting to look for shorts, but also what my sort of reservations and precautions are, 8 Waja. So one of the things that we talked about on Friday was, yeah, I'm in a little bit of a head short, but I don't think we've missed the short until Sunday or Monday. And look at this, sure enough, CME is still going higher. And also remember when we talked about how CME hasn't swept its all-time high. So if you are going to attempt a short before the CME sweeps its all-time high, like Bitcoin already swept its all-time high, right? Bitcoin is already, so look at the Bitcoin derivatives chart. It already it broke an all-time high. CME has not. You understand the difference? CME has not. Derivatives have. So any short attempt that you would try before CME sweeps, you would want to make sure you get stopped out in profit. Alrighty, and the other thing to remember is that you have 350 plus, close to 400 million in shorts, still in shorts, right? You have, from this top, you have 415 million in shorts. And so we looked at the data, we talked about the shorts that are all still in, and in the red right now, if I may add. The people that shorted here, they have not closed. They're in the red right now. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with shorting, but the data is the data. This is unarguable. You have 450 million in shorts that are in the red from 70,000 and lower. You're gonna start to invalidate higher time frame CVD bear div. Alrighty, and CME has not swept. Those three things are not debatable. You can't argue that. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with taking shorts, alrighty, but if you see all of that, I would assume that you're never gonna let your short go red. You're certainly not gonna sit there and keep adding, right? You're always gonna get stopped out in tiny profit or break even. You know that there's a higher chance that it's gonna go higher. So the short attempt is really to see if you can get lucky if it's not gonna go grab the highs, right? That's really the purpose of your short. So you would never, if you can wait and be patient and get good levels, then you know that even if you're wrong, you're gonna be able to stop out in tiny profit or break even. So, alrighty, 8 Waja, but there you go. So, make sure you take all those things into consideration, and then don't forget about identifying levels and understanding that there's a little bit of a traditional market influence this week. You know that CPI is tomorrow, right? So based off of the CPIs that we've seen, based off of CME sort of sweep levels that we've seen, how funny would it be if it swept 73.3 today, makes a whole bunch of bad highs? You might still get like a nice little pullback, like a $3,000, $4,000 pullback to stop out all the bad lows around like the 69 area, like 69.3. But what if it slowly creeps back up during the night and the evening time? CPI comes out, big violent wick to sweep the sweep and get all the bad highs from today, and then we actually nuke. So just all stuff to kind of think about, 8 Waja, okay? And remember, even though I'm looking for a short, unless it gives me an edge or a reason to, I'm not going to take it. You understand that, right, 8 Waja? And we talked about all the edge. So open interest, CVD, confluence with S&P tomorrow. All right, 8 Waja, all that I just said right now should be a handful in and of itself to get you prepared for tomorrow and tonight. And then I showed my next TP level. Do you know where my next TP level is? If I told you that I'm aiming for CME sweep, you could kind of assume that my next TP is going to line up with the CME sweep, right? So let me know if you have any specific questions, brother. But you know what I would always say, right? Start with the shit that's not debatable, right? Make sure you have your CME sweep level identified. Make sure you have your value area highs and lows identified so you know what the range is. If it goes above this, then you have a higher chance that it's going to try to make all-time highs. If it tucks back in to a value area high, it's probably going to rotate to value area low, right? Understand where the naked point of controls are for the time-based levels and the volume-based levels. All right, make sure you know where the VWAP is and just do your best. I think if you have the levels identified, you're in good shape, brother. Lonnie says, what CME are you talking about? Mine swept at 69. You're probably looking at the CME wrong. You want to go to settings and make sure you adjust for contract changes. All right. If you don't know about this, basically you don't know how to trade traditional markets. So you probably have to take a step back and kind of reassess like what contract changes mean and why you need to have them toggled. Because if you didn't have that toggled, you've been looking at the CME data wrong the whole time. All right, but on traditional markets, you need to adjust for contract changes. If you didn't know what that was, then you may want to take a step back and go back to how you're supposed to read traditional markets, because you've been looking at S&P, CME, all that shit wrong. Alrighty, but yeah, that should do it for you. But it's more important, obviously, that you understand what that does, right? Don't just be the noob that toggles it and is like, oh, okay. Because the real question is why did you not know about it, and how long have you been looking at traditional market charts wrong? Because there might be other things that you don't have toggled on, which is making you look at shit the wrong way too. So you need to make sure you have all the proper settings and charting settings correct when you're going to look at traditional markets. So that's the difference between like, you know, somebody like a professor or a teacher walking you through all that stuff versus like you self-teaching and self-learning yourself. You know, you don't know what you don't know until you find out, right? Bogdan Sar says, what the fuck? Nice profit, bro. Did you know that, Bogdan, did you know that we've the highest is maybe like $1 million profit that we've done live on stream? Did you know that we talk about prepare and plan for our trades days, if not weeks in advance? Bogdan? Oh, that's okay. Exclamation YouTube. And we did a live deposit of about 500K into TapBit. We just did a live deposit into Blowfin, 420,000. So prepare to see, this is actually kind of small. But it's not really like the stream isn't like a dick measuring contest. It's not about trying to like flex like P&Ls. It's just about, I want to make something really clear to all the new viewers. I'm not a professional trader. I don't do this for a living. This is just a passion hobby of mine. Okay, I have another separate job that I do. And so I'm not here to sell you guys a course. I'm not here to pitch you guys a signals group. We don't have any of that. I don't have a course. I don't have a signals. I don't do any of that shit. So I try to stream as much as I can every day. Most of the time we get lucky and we can TP and get filled live on stream, but sometimes we can't just because of the nature of the volatility of the crypto markets. But every day we stream, every day we prepare and plan. There's enough. It's not really so much that I cover everything. It's that you guys ask enough questions where I end up covering literally everything. Some of you guys are more bearish than others. Some of you guys are more bullish than others. There's really no right or wrong. We're not trying to get all in the same position. We're not trying to agree with each other. We're just here to try and learn and enjoy each other's company. Alrighty, so sounds Gucci. I'm rooting for all of you guys. I honestly don't give a shit if you're long or short, if you agree with me or not. Alrighty, that's not what we're about here. So just trying to learn, improve, get better. Because I think at the end of the day, if you really are serious about juicing and making money off of trading, you're going to understand that you can only get lucky so often. And if you really want to make money off of this market, you have to know what you're doing yourself. You can't get lucky. You're not going to be able to copy trade your way to success. You're going to end up understanding that you have to know what the fuck you're doing yourself. So everything that we try to do here is to try to get everybody motivated in that same direction. So, yeah, it's not about being right or wrong or agreeing with each other. In fact, it's actually kind of scary when we all agree with each other, you know? So it's good to have diversity, ladies and gentlemen. It's not about being right or wrong. He said, she said, coulda, shoulda, woulda. It's just about, you know, improving and getting better and you feeling like you know what the fuck you're doing. Because at the end of the day, if you don't know what you're doing, it's not, you know, the math is going to work out to a point where the markets are going to take money from you. But let me know, the higher time frame concepts really haven't changed, Banana Man. You're about to lose the higher time frame CVD bear div, which is kind of a bummer for bears. And you still have shorts that are just continually adding. None of them have closed. So that's kind of interesting. But, you know, that being said, my first level of interest has been for quite some days now, the CME all-time high. So obviously I would love a CVD divergence. Obviously I would love for it to not make a bad high. Obviously I would love the open interest to nuke a couple $100 million, right? Obviously I would love a swing fail pattern. Okay, but we're about to get into Macaulay Culkin. We're about to get into daily candle close, and we're gonna have CPI tomorrow. CPI is almost 10 hours away. CPI is roughly 10 hours away. Okay, CPI is 10 hourly candles away. So just based off of all the CPIs that I've been a part of, that we've been a part of, just based off of sweep levels pre-CPI, you know what would be kind of funny is we do sweep the CME all-time high today. However, the way in which we do it, we leave a bad high and then we go and sweep it tomorrow for tomorrow to be the short entry. Or it has a huge retrace. I think the initial move will probably be a debate. So if we don't grab the high today based off of how much time is left, you might witness something like a golden pocket single print fill, gap and go. Pixel perfect, single print. Kind of do this overnight. Okay, CPI, think. Express One says, what happens if the CPI matches expectations of the median estimate? That's a great question, and for a great question, there's a great answer. Do you know what it is, Express? So it's not really so much about the exact question that you're asking, but how you would go about figuring it out yourself. And so all you could do is just go back, mark all the CPI days, and then filter out all the ones that didn't meet expectations. So the ones that exceeded or the ones that undercut what they were expecting, ignore those and just focus on the ones that did exactly what the markets expected. And you can go to this CME futures dashboard and you can see the probabilities that they're showing, right? CME CPI forecast. So they're saying that the target rate is going to be 525, 550, 97%. Right? So Express One, all you have to do is go back and take a look at the days that met expectations, and you can see for yourself what kind of volatility to expect. If you really wanted to try hard, express, you would look to see if it actually hit Boo Gammas or not, right? If you have historical Boo Gamma data, you would want to not just see what kind of volatility there was, but you would want to maybe see what the VIX looked like, what the Boo Gammas looked like, what the open interest for the Boo Gamma looked like. Then you are starting to figure out if you have enough things lining up to be able to replicate that same science experiment. But that being said, it's not a black and white answer on, oh, there's no volatility then. Because you have to be considering, did it get priced in before or not? Some people think that it's priced in every single time. Some people think that certain times it's not priced in. So that's how you kind of start to figure out how to answer your own question. Does that help? Now, if you ask me, okay, that being said, motherfucker, because I don't know, because like it can kind of seem like a dodgy question, but I'm not trying to be. So if you come to me and say, okay, all that being said, motherfucker, okay, if it meets expectations tomorrow, what do you think is going to happen tomorrow? I think it would be bearish. But I guess the point that I'm trying to make, express one, is some days it reacts the day of, and this is what I mean by is it priced in or is it not? The CPI is one of the most influential variables for what? FOMC. So CPI isn't really the big show. The big show is FOMC. And so that's why we mark out not just the CPI, but also the Friday options expirations for that Friday, okay? And then the following week's FOMC, and then also the weekly options expirations for that Friday for FOMC Friday. So there's CPI, there's CPI Friday, there's FOMC, and FOMC Friday. And that complexity is what makes this game so goddamn fun. So I hope it doesn't like turn you off, but more so turns you on. Right? And do you understand when I say like you need to check the VIX? That's the volatility index, right? And then obviously you want to take a look to see if the Boo Gammas are holding or not. You've been following me long enough to the point where you know that the day before FOMC, the day before CPI, the day before GDP, I'll put a little bit more stress into the traditional markets and whether or not they're going to hit or get away from Boo Gammas, right? So there you go. And Mandela was talking about how there's quarterly options expirations. So this Friday's options expirations is big. You might get more volatility this Friday than tomorrow morning. Alrighty, so that's how I would cover it. And like I said, if you put a gun to my head and you said, okay, motherfucker, so are you bearish or bullish tomorrow? I think in general, it's probably leaning a little bit more bearish. But again, I don't really know if that's applicable when you have so much open interest that could be a short squeeze. And it's to the shorter's credit, like from a simpler TA standpoint, it's kind of been looking bearish. But then that's why you would think that they're trapped. So you see that I'm in a long, and what I would love, express one, is for us to sweep the 73.3 before tomorrow morning. The reason for that is so that one, we can make like bad highs, which would be an obvious swing fail attempt to grab all that liquidity. But two, it anchors a high for us to create a higher high and have a CVD bear div. So maybe we don't get any. Maybe it's only 100 million. But I would love to see a 73.3 that shows signs of a little bit of a short squeeze. Okay, so when people were asking, well, what if it doesn't clear the whole 450 mil? I don't think it will. I don't think it's going to be that obvious. But if I can see maybe 100 or 150 get chipped, if we sweep 73.3 on CME, okay, that's nice. And then let's make some shitty highs throughout the night. Maybe we do pull back. I'm not sure. And then CPI grabbed all the bad highs, sweep to sweep. Even more open interest gets swept on that one. And then let's get nasty. So that would be one play. And then, you know, obviously, like we said, there's a lot of heavy longs in here that would probably get stopped out in profit. So losing this, very, 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 very bad. Golden pocket, single print. So you could see something like a fork. Like this zone, it would probably be a quick Sato. Well, Sato would be like, yeah! You know, but most of South Korea probably talking about Kachoi Shiba. There's a lot of longs here. So, you know, losing this would be bad for bulls. You would probably see a quick cascade. You know, but the reaction of the single print is what would be interesting. So, and that kind of makes sense too, because there's probably, like, in an alternate universe, my retail ass probably got lucky on some market smash long here, thinking I'm the greatest trader in the world, and it would totally make sense to just go, fuck, stop me out. Oh my God, I knew it. And then my retail ass ends up top longing right here. Okay, talking about, fuck, I knew it. We're going to 75, y'all, 100K, y'all, go fuck yourself. CPI. You know? CVD bear div. Open interest going down, you know. Anyways, just stuff to kind of think about and be prepared for, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so assuming that you see the CME 73,715 all-time high getting swept, okay, and that correlates to 73.3 or whatever your derivative pricing is, I'm going to need to see an edge. And so as it's getting there, I would love to see shorts getting squeezed. And what I mean by that is the 400 million or whatever we've been tracking. If you know, you know. You know what I'm talking about, yes? So from all the way to like 69,000, you have 500. Holy fuck. It's almost kind of surreal to see this, but the math is the math and the data is the data. So you have $516 million in shorts open from 69,000. Okay, that is just on Bybit, BTC, USD alone. Okay, and I'm sure when you go, and here's how I showed you guys how to do it. If you don't have EXO, okay, if you don't have EXO, then you can just go to Coinalyze. Okay, and then you can load up the individual open interest. So a lot of times we talk about using the aggregate CVD, aggregate liquidity, aggregate open interest. You can just type open interest and get open interest and open interest delta, all right? And you have basically the same amount. Coinalyze is reporting 1.148 billion. You know, EXO is rounding up to 1.15, okay? But so it's basically the same thing. So Coinalyze is free. Uranium. Oh, it's my bad, Uranium. You were answering Deox. Deox was asking, is EXO free? EXO is not free. My apologies, Uranium. Yeah, but what I'm trying to show you is you can get the same exact open interest delta. I don't know if you have net shorts on this bitch. Yeah. You don't. But the open interest delta, you can, track that way. And then obviously you can do aggregate and whatnot. Alrighty. Lukey Luke says hello from Switzerland. Hey, shout outs to Lukey Luke. Shout outs to everybody from Switzerland. Oh, and so Kagan, that's the other thing, brother. I wasn't even done yet, Kagan. I'm just trying to keep it simple for you. But I gotta have an edge, okay? So one type of edge, you could have a structural. You can have a structural edge, and what I mean by that is you can have a swing failure pattern when the candle body closes, and you're going to have to anticipate, am I going to go with 15 minute, am I going to go with 30 minute, or am I going to go with 1 hour time frame? The more edge you have, the smaller time frame you can count on. You're overcompensating with time when you don't have any edge. If it's swing failed and pixel perfect, grab the 75786 and a single print, and it's back below the swing fail, and it has a bearish CVD, you probably shouldn't be there waiting there on a 30-minute candle close. You should probably either be on a 5 or a 15-minute most likely. But if you have no CVD div, you have nothing, you can zoom out as far as you can. Literally, there's nothing, no edge. Open interest didn't squeeze. Literally, it's just a swing fail pattern. You might want to wait for another hourly candle close just to be certain. So when you don't have that much edge, you can try to compensate with more time above a level or time below. So you could have structural edge. You could have divergence. All right. And so we've already been kind of talking about this, but higher high, lower high. Okay? Higher high, lower high. Now, even though we've gotten up here, it's still barely holding on to this one, this trend. Okay, but is this CVD lower than this CVD and this? Yes. So you've got like this weird higher time frame CVD bear div, regular bear div. Kagan. Okay. So what I was saying before was and then you could have well, I don't really want to talk so much about like Fibonacci extension, and the third one is kind of like more miscellaneous shit. Like this is when we would start talking. It's CPI tomorrow, right? So would you say that traditional markets could have a heavier correlation effect? I think would you agree with that, Kagan? Since it's CPI tomorrow. So if traditional markets are going to pop, most likely crypto is going to be dragged along with it. If traditional markets are going to nuke, most likely crypto will get dragged along with it. I'm making a broad generalization, obviously. But the third would basically be like confluence with traditional markets. So with all that being said, holy shit, it's a let us answer, isn't it? Kagan, when you were asking about what would be your stop loss. Okay, so if I have to get a swing fail pattern, I'm not putting blind limits. I'm letting it do that, whether it's on the 15 minute or the 30 minute or the 5 minute, but I need a structural edge. You can have a swing failure pattern. You can have a failed auction. You can have a 3 drives. And you can also have a Kimba crown where it does this one, but it's golden. It doesn't go any higher than golden pocket. Okay, or a BART or whatever you want to call, or a Wyckoff distribution or whatever the fuck you want to call it. So those are the types of things that you would anticipate. And the other thing that I was saying was whether you do this and you get and it does a candle close on the 15-minute, you go from sweep level to 7.5 or 8.86, and it does this, and you get partially filled, and then it does this, but then it does this. Whatever it does, I think the safest move would be to make sure that you get stopped out in tiny profit or break even. Why? Because you have 489 million in shorts trapped. Okay, so do you see, like when I line up my cursor from 69,000, you started to have people short. None of these people have closed. A majority of the shorts, the 490 million in shorts, are in the red. Okay, and then like if you zoom into here, you can see, for example, if I put my cursor here, okay, right here. Well, bro, starting around 71,400, you had another 103 million in shorts adding. The fuck going on? Either these are the most like big dick market makers and they're doing it using BTC USD pair on a retail exchange, or these fools are smoking way crazier Latuche than I've ever have had access to. And I have traveled the planet for the most Latuche. So I don't really know what's going on, but the math is the math. And I'm pretty sure that if you loaded this on Exo or other charting platforms that can keep track of open interest delta, I guarantee you it's the same story. There's shorts getting trapped here. I love it. I can understand why. But I also know that any time when this happens historically, the minute the first guy, the big bag holder, starts to pussy out, then it just starts to cascade. And I think most of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking about a big crazy cascade. So, I think it's good to keep an eye on that. And I'm still going to try to do the best that I can and be responsible and try to TP the longs where I think I need to. And we certainly have spent a couple of solid hours going over, what kind of partial closing would be okay. So this $103 million in shorts from 72,000 or 671.8 could be the first local batch to get squeezed out. But this is an example of the things that we talked about, how you can look at the range, just like how when you zoom out, you can see like when it peaked, right? You can see that. So you know that this is when a bunch of shorts came in. So you can kind of average out, okay, there's about, it started at 17, it went to 207. So let's just call it 190 million. So there's 190 million, and let's just give the fucker the benefit of the doubt and just tell him 69.4. Okay, so there's 190 million at 69,420. Okay, who is that? That's for sure one of you. I just realized that. This is you, one of you. Who is this? Who's 190 million heavy leved at 69,420? Quit playing with me. Hands up. Be honest. I just realized that, y'all. Oh my God. I can't make it up. It's at 69,420. Who is that? For sure, Kimba Gang Lion.
That's
I'm
fucking family.
I'm not making fun of you. I'm not trying to humiliate you. But that's a dead giveaway. Quit playing with me. Maybe we ignore that. Okay, but you see what I did? All jokes aside, the math is the math. 207 million to 296. You have about 90 million stuck in between here. Let's give the fucker the benefit of the doubt. He got into a $90 million short at 66,000. Okay? Another one, 258, pumped all the way to 358. Let's just call it 100 mil right here. Okay? So let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. He has another 100 mil from 61.5. How bad do you think, like, what's going on with this guy? I don't know. So, anyways, you guys, we're all seeing the same shit, ladies and gentlemen. All right, these are leveraged shorts, right? Correct, Aphelion. Alpha Pool says it's just a hedge. It could be. It could be. Yeah. And look, like, we'll make fun of it and kind of joke about it all the time. Is there a small chance that it's some Alpha 5 head shit? Oh yeah, 100%. Maybe the guy is literally jacking off to what I'm saying right now because he knows that he's gonna make billions. You know, and we're just straight falling for it. You never know. But it is what it is though, unless Bybit is literally just lying about those orders. The data is the data. Right? Okay. So, and for the most part, institutions or any sort of hedging that would go on would not be done this way. But let's always give everything a possibility. Yeah, is what I would say. I see you guys. Okay. Dekiku, Mars Pumpkin. So yeah, like I wouldn't, I would still take shorts if like a swing fail happens, right? Yeah. If it's like a smaller time frame div or whatever, you know, I'll take a shot. But I want to try to be as disciplined as possible, Kagan, so that I don't get, like, I would never let any of these short attempts go red. I don't care if there's a chance that it just stops me out and then leaves me at the train station and just has like a 25K nuke. I got to do the right thing, and I would never let any of these shorts turn red. Just because I don't want to be caught, I don't want to be stuck on the boat when all of these
Love
dudes...
you, Kimber, less than 3.
Hey, shout outs to you, Deox. I just don't want to be... I've been here, done that, you know, and so I think if you've seen this kind of shit before, you might be a little bit more biased, or if you haven't seen this shit before, you might be a little bit less biased. There really is no right or wrong. But whenever I see the open interest this high, there's a big move coming. Alrighty. And I don't want to be stuck trying to race other people that have more money than me to try and get the fuck off the ride, if that makes sense. So, I would just have to make sure that my risk was managed, and it would start to become a little bit intolerably high, based off of what I get to see from the open interest and whatnot. So, and by the way, Kagan, no one knows at the end of the day. I certainly don't. You know, I'm going to have to do my best, and you do your best. And if you feel like you're a little bit more bullish than I am, or you're a little bit more bearish than I am, that's totally fine. You know that, right? I've been wrong many a times. So, but the cool thing though is, even though when I'm wrong, I usually get stopped out in tiny profit or break even. All right, I'm getting the fuck out of here. You guys are the best. SRS, you good? All right, longers, I'm rooting for you. Shorters, I'm rooting for you. Bulls, Bears, we're all Lions. Oh, Sato, tell them what happens if they don't use stop loss. Tell them what happens if they don't use stop loss, Sato. He said he's going to smack the shit out of you. Ladies and gentlemen, CPI Tuesday. Love you guys. Have a great night. I had a blast. I hope you guys did too. You guys are the best. Peace, everybody. See you guys bright and early tomorrow, yeah? Get your caffeine ready. Peace, everybody.